a loaf from the future. In the end, almost nothing was left of it. But a lot of time has passed since then, and a lot of work has been done. And already in this episode we'll get an outline that's very close to the concept in the picture. Enjoy watching.
Guys, the frame of the loaf is turning out really tall, definitely not like in the original photo. Guys, you're doing great, but don't mess up the proportions. The proportions are off.
As you can tell, after reading your comments, Andrei couldn't sleep peacefully anymore. Yes, we really did mess up the proportions a bit. The main thing is to admit the mistake and try to fix it. And of course we couldn't do it without your help.
It's not hard to make the base longer now. While everything is at an early stage, don't deviate from the picture.
To fix the mistake, we need to cut the car in half and lengthen it. But first, we need to weld in some braces to make sure the geometry stays intact. That's exactly what we are doing. By the time the last brace was welded in, you could really see true teamwork in action. It's just a shame that the guys only have one welding mask between the two of them, just like their intelligence, judging by the next shots. Supports were welded all around the perimeter. As a result, after we separate the two parts, they should remain level with each other. And so, on all sides 4 supports per side. Once the car turned into an 8-legged creature, we could start cutting it apart. First, we drill out the spot welds. And here pay attention to how the frame is joined at the factory, because we'll try to replicate everything the same way, but with a 60 cm extension. After the side member is split in half, we cut through all the other components. Yes, now really is the best time to fix this mistake, because with every new part, it will become less and less feasible. At this stage, you could say we got off easy. To lengthen the frame, we ordered 2 blanks like these, which replicate the profile of the side member. With their help, we'll extend the frame. We cut them lengthwise to replicate the factory design, and we follow it exactly. Yes, there will be questions about the positioning, but at the factory it was done like this, one side inward, the other with an overlap. That's what we're doing, and we weld the spots in the same way and in the same quantity as at the factory. The next step is to cut off all the excess, resulting in an almost factory-like finish, after which we extend the sides. Here, everything is simple and clearly visible. After 2 days, we have a body that is 60 centimeters longer and already has proportions that look quite realistic. Once all the braces have been removed, all that's left is to prime all the implants.
Where have you ever really seen primer on factory-made Bukanka vans, in real life anywhere?
Well, sorry, but we're not going to remove it now. Now that we have the exact dimensions, we can work on the trim that frames the body along the contour. First, we create a 3D model. This is what it looks like. And with the help of a CNC machine and 2 sheets of Penoplex, we transfer them from the computer to the real world. Of course, these elements won't be made out of Penoplex. This way, we're simply creating the required shape, so that later we can make a mold from it, and produce these parts out of fiberglass. After the first batch of trim pieces was ready, we took all the necessary measurements and figured out how far we need to extend the base that the plexiglass will rest on. While the CNC machine was cutting the next batch of trim pieces, we started working on the base itself. First of all, we weld this kind of structure, since in the corner of the body there is nothing to attach the profile to, which will support the plexiglass. And this gusset solved the problem perfectly. So on. We weld the structure along the entire side, making sure it protrudes exactly by the thickness of the trim 8 mm, since the side will be covered with 8 mm plexiglass.
I can just imagine how traffic cops will be blown away by something like this on the road.
Yeah, unfortunately with all these modifications it's no longer possible to register a car like this. As a result, this will be an exhibition project only. Exhibition but fully functional. This is our first experience. As they say, you have to start somewhere. In future projects, of course, we'll try to make cars that are fully suitable for everyday use. But this project is just a warm-up. We needed to figure out whether this kind of format was needed on the channel at all. As it turned out, it really is. Thank you very much for your support. Once the horizontal elements are welded, we move on to the vertical posts, which need to precisely match our main posts. Do you remember the main posts? We bent them using hydraulics, but now we have a pipe bender. This is a donation from one of our subscribers. Hello, and a big thank you to Genia from the garages. Now life has really become easier. We bend, cut to the required length, and weld it into place. As a result, we have these kinds of frames, which will later hold the plexiglass. Now it's time for the overlays. After the CNC machining, the blanks look like this. We remove them from the molds and fit them to the body. Once all the overlays are in place, it becomes clear what the art should look like. In the end, it needs to be widened a bit. That's exactly what we're working on now. Yes, you had a lot of questions about the arches and the wheel travel. As I mentioned before, the car will be able to move, but only a little, and it definitely won't be driven off-road. So this kind of clearance is perfectly acceptable. And as you notice, the wheel turned out to be too recessed. But these spacers are just a temporary solution, so we can keep moving forward. We'll be addressing this issue in the near future. And the wheels will look completely different. So just a little patience. The arches are ready, so now we can refine the overlay's shape by hand. Fortunately, Andrei has much experience and has shaped even more complex forms. Here, everything is simple. Base set by CNC machine, rest is technique. A can of foam, couple meters, some sandpaper, another day work. While Andrew is busy with the finishing touches, Valera is waiting for a call from the subscribers. As you remember, in the last episode we had a pressing issue with hinges. Try using concealed door hinges. They are installed inside the profile. There were a lot of calls. You really helped us a lot. For some reason, no one on the team knew about the existence of such hinges, but they turned out to be just right for us. As a result, we also extended the door so that we could cover it later. And we installed the hinges. Here's the result. All that's left is to clean the metals and prime it. Buy a sand blaster. It's a very useful thing when working with metal. Are you sure what you're doing? Two projects at the same time? Is that a good idea? Yes, there were a lot of questions about why start a new project without finishing the old one. Well, this is actually relevant because it's often the case that work comes to a halt when we run into some difficulties. We have to order missing materials or parts and wait a week for them to arrive. That's when we switch from one project to another. And besides, more than one person is working on the project, so yes, we are sure it's a good idea. And in case anyone doesn't know, our second project is building a car like this. We decided to combine a Volga 21 and a Bugatti Chiron, and very soon a new big episode will be released. It's already being edited. Here's a little spoiler. In the meantime, it's the perfect time to check out the first episode if you haven't seen it yet. I leave the link in the description. And finally, we decided to roughly put on a sheet of plexiglass. This is to see how close we are to the reference image we're aiming for. We're tinting the plastic with a film that's as similar as possible. This is just a temporary solution. It's to get a sense that the truth is close. Later, everything will be covered with a different film and by professionals. Let me remind you that projects like this are only possible thanks to your support. A like, a couple of long comments, and most importantly, sharing this video anywhere you can. All of that really helps promote the video. You always do a great job helping with promotion. Thank you so much, and may your axe stay sharp.
You'll end up with a nice greenhouse on wheels if you cover it with polycarbonate.